They acting up. They acting a fool. So he was ratting them out. Verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. It says, now Israel. So they're talking about Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. It's still about the chosen people of the Most High. It hasn't changed. It says he loved Joseph more than all his other children. And you got to understand the context of the scriptures. This happened over when Jacob was born, him and Esau. Isaac loved Esau, and his mom, Rebekah, loved Jacob. And so it was favoritism. That's how it is. Though, you got to understand who these people are and who they are today. It's us. So the same thing that happened to them is the same thing is happening to us now. We're still the same way. It's still favoritism. We're still those same people. What you're reading about is our history. When I say our, I'm talking about all the 12 tribes of Israel that are scattered. All 12 tribes are scattered. We're not in the land called the nation of Israel. Those are not us. They're not God's chosen people. But the world accepts them as the chosen people because the world doesn't know who the chosen people are. And so they've taken over that land by fraud and deceit. And since 1948, everybody thinks they're the chosen people. They're Ashkenaz, Khazarians, Japhet, Gentiles, and Edomites. And so they know that they're not the chosen people. That's why they go by Jewish. That's why the scripture says, I know those that say that they are Jews, but are not. They do lie. They are of the synagogue of Satan. That's who those people are. All 12 tribes of Israel are scattered. But the so-called church today, the Christian church, don't teach that the 12 tribes of Israel are scattered. They don't hardly even mention the 12 tribes. And they definitely don't tell you who they are and where they are. But we are the 12 tribes of Israel. We're scattered throughout the earth. Judah, the southern kingdom of Judah from Jerusalem, is scattered the furthest. Jesus said before he was crucified, Yahawashi, that we would fall by the edge of the sword. That's what happened when Jerusalem was trodden down of the Gentiles. He said, y'all would be led away captive into all nations. We fled into parts of the continent of Africa, the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom was scattered first. They had already been scattered during the times of Yahawashi, Jesus' ministry, the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom. That's why people don't understand. When the scripture said lost, Jesus said, I'll come into the lost tribes of Israel. He was talking about all of Israel. He said the house of Israel. The 10 tribes of the northern kingdom didn't go by the house of Israel no more. They went by Gentiles or Edomites. And so people take that scripture out of context and say, well, don't nobody know where the 10 tribes, Jesus, Yahawashi know where they are. Some of them were still in Jerusalem. They were scattered within that area in what they call Asia. Well, that's what it was called then in parts of Greece. The scripture tells you exactly where they were. And so he knew that who they were. They knew who they were. The woman from Samaria, she was of the 10 tribes. The centurion, he was of the 10 tribes. Cornelius, people don't understand that. The woman, Syrophoenician woman, she was of the 10 tribes. A lot of people, the woman that was in the Hannah, there was of Asher, she was of the 10 tribes. A lot of the people that was in the 10 tribes are mentioned in the scripture, but they don't say that they was of the 10 tribes. But if you keep it in context, you can see that that's who they're talking about. And all of the disciples, they were of all the different tribes. Not all of them was not of Judah. One was called Salmon, I think, and he was a Canaanite. And so that's what the scriptures are about. Is about a chosen people. The two tribes of the southern kingdom of Judah in Jerusalem, we were scattered the furthest. The transatlantic slave trade scattered us throughout all the earth. And so that's who we are. That's who the scriptures are talking to, talking about. This is our history. It's telling us about ourselves. Now, most of us read the scriptures, but we don't understand that we're reading about ourselves. We haven't been told that we are the tribes of Israel. And so that's why we don't understand. That's why we're deceived. That's why there's so many religions, especially Christianity, because they take the scriptures out of context. So Christianity basically tries to replace the 12 tribes of Israel. It's because they want to say, oh, it's about the Gentiles, not knowing that when they're talking about the Gentiles compared to Jews, they're only talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. They're not talking about everybody else in the world when they say Jews and Gentiles or Jews and Greeks. And so all of this you have to understand when you're studying the scripture. So now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. He loved Joseph. Joseph, his mother was Rachel. And Jacob loved Rachel. He wanted to marry her, but when he got down to Laban, his uncle, he said, no, well, you got to marry her sister first, the oldest, Leah. And so that's what he had to do. He worked 7 years for Leah, then another 7 years for Rachel. But he loved Rachel the most. And each one, Leah and Rachel, had handmaids. And so they were in competition with one another to see who could have the most kids. And Leah ended up running out with her and her handmaid over Rachel. But Joseph was born of Rachel. And so that's probably why he loved Joseph more. It said it was the son of his old age. He made him a coat of many colors. That's royalty. I mean, he stands out above his other brothers. Now, you got to understand something else about the scriptures as we get into it. Everything that's written is written for us, for our purpose, and for an example. And everything that's happening have to happen. The scriptures are about prophecy. It's about the kingdom of heaven, bringing back the Messiah to redeem us from the time that we were in the Garden of Eden. That's what the scriptures are about. And so that's why you have to keep it in context to have that understanding. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Verse 4,